Richard and welcome to Language Link Da Nang and our Listen, Speak and Raw live stream to help you improve your English skills. We want you to improve your listening skills, your speaking skills and your confidence when speaking English. We have already covered a lot of topics in these videos, with topics such as how to apologize, how not to say some things, and we give you more words to expand your vocabulary. This video is part 2 of a video on the top English words that Vietnamese often mispronounce. So take a look at our page for all the other videos and give the videos a like. I come from sunny England, so I'm a native English speaker, and I know it's not easy learning another language, especially ones which are so different from your own, like Vietnamese. English definitely isn't easy, and many native speakers make mistakes. It's easy to make mistakes. This is normal when learning a language. The more practice you get, the more confidence you will have. So, Vietnamese are different for many reasons. Tenses, subject-verb agreement, syllable stress, sentence stress, so many differences between English and Vietnamese. The biggest difficulty can be pronunciation. And no matter what your first language is, one of the most difficult parts of learning any language is pronunciation. How to say the words, very difficult. So we want to help you in this video. Seeing English written down isn't necessarily the best way to learn how to say it, because sometimes we spell a word differently to the way that we say it. There is also a difference between British English and American English. This one here, British English. This one here, American English. So I can explain a little bit about that. Let's start with my name. So, I said at the start of the video, my name is Richard. Let me try and write this phonetically for you in British English. So, R, I, Ch, D. So, I say my name, Richard. R like rice. I like igloo. Ch like church. Like about. And D like dog. But in American English, down here, we have a different way to write it. So, we still have R for rice. We still have I for igloo. And we still have Ch for church. But then, we have the and we add a R for rice in before the D. That means this one sounds like Richard, and this one sounds like Richard, with the extra R. So we can explain a little bit about that later in the video, but it's important to know that both of these are correct, and the way to pronounce different words in British English and American English are sometimes different, but both of them are okay. So, in today's lesson, we're going to learn about some of the words which speakers of English as a second language find difficult. Sometimes they can mispronounce the words. Like I said, some words can be okay in British English and American English, and we're going to learn how to say them words correctly. Sometimes a little bit more information about each word. So if you're ready, let's start. So, the first thing I want to talk to you about is this sound here. Looks like an upside down E. It's because it kind of is. But it's a sound in the English language. We call it the schwa sound. I don't know why. But it sounds like this. Very strange, right? But we use it a lot in English. Take this word, for example. Many people might pronounce this word like happiness. But the correct way to pronounce it is with the sound. Happiness. There's another example of this I can show you. This one. Not with the I sound, but with the sound. Awareness. You hear that? Awareness. Let's try one more example. This one. You might think it's pronounced with the I sound, witness, but it's not. It's pronounced with the schwa sound. So it sounds like witness. You hear that sound again? Witness. That's one thing we can look at today. I have another example I want to show you. So, we just looked at the schwa sound, which is We're going to talk about that again in a different way. So, maybe you've seen this word before. It doesn't sound like harmless, even though maybe it looks like it a little bit. Actually, we're going to use the schwa sound again, like an upside down E. It sounds like So this word is going to be harmless. See how I go low there when I say it? Harmless. Let's try another example. These two words, they have a similar sort of meaning, because less is a suffix that means not as much. So, not as much or no harm, not as much or no pain. And we're going to use this sound again, the schwa sound, to say it. Here we go. Painless. Really deep, right? Not painless, painless. Let's try one more example. Not worthless. If we separate the words and we write worth less, that's okay. But when we make it one word, it becomes worthless. So the schwa sound, very important in English. Now, the next one I want to talk to you about is a little bit different. We don't need to worry about the schwa sound so much in this. So, we need to consider when we say words about if they are a verb, a noun, an adjective, or an adverb. Because sometimes the word looks the same, but it sounds different. Let me give you an example. You might look at this word and think it's pronounced separate. Well, you'd be right. But you might look at this word and think it sounds like separate. Well, you'd also be right. That depends on what the word is. Is it the verb or the noun? We write it exactly the same. So, for the verb, it's going to sound like this. This sound is like A. And we really need to make our mouth wide to make this sound and work out our mouth muscles. So, watch me when I say this sound. A. See that? Kind of like a smile. So, this is not going to sound like separate because it's the verb. This is going to sound like separate. Let's try the noun. This or that adjective. Separate. Looks the same, but it sounds differently. Let's check this one out. So, this sound is just the I, like igloo, when we spoke about my name earlier. So this one is going to sound like separate, separate. And this one's going to sound like separate. So the verb to separate. And this one, it is separate. Looks the same, sounds different. Let's try one more example in case you're confused. Well, you might be confident and think this word means to change between two things. And you'd be right, because it's a verb. But it's also an adjective. And we pronounce them differently. Same like separate and separate. This one is going to be the wide mouth sound again. A, alternate. And this one, the adjective. We write it the same, but we spell the end of it a little bit different. And we put a syllable, stress on a different syllable. Alternate and alternate, like at the end of that sound. So, looks the same, sounds different. Let's do one more example. Okay, my son or daughter is a graduate. Okay, so it can be a noun. But what did they do to be a graduate? Well, they have to graduate, of course. Graduate, graduate, it happened again. So, the verb. A, graduate, or A, graduate. So, we've got to think carefully about whether the words we are using are verbs or adjectives in English or nouns. Okay, the next one I want to talk to you about is this sound here. Full. Lots of words in English end in this sound. For example, you must have seen this word before. Successful. Some people spell it with two C's as well. So, what's the correct way to say it? Well, some people might say it like this. Successful. But that's actually incorrect. We want it to sound more like this, with the at the end. So remember the schwa sound that we spoke about earlier? Looks like an upside down E, right? Okay, so that means it's going to sound like successful. We just got to say it low. So successful, successful. Okay, let's try another example. beautiful. What a great and common word in the English language. But if you pronounce it beautiful, you're the fool. Because the real way to pronounce it is with the schwa sound, and it's going to sound like Let's do it again. Beautiful. So you write you, but it's going to sound like the schwa sound. Very common in English, like I said earlier. So, one more time. Beautiful. It even sounds nice to say, right? One more thing I want to talk about in this lesson. And I understand this sound can be amusing in Vietnamese. Let me write a word first in English before we talk about the sound. Another great word from the English language. But we don't want to end this word sounding like this Vietnamese word. No, because we don't end a word like that in English. And the reason for this mistake can be closing the mouth when we say the L sound. This we don't do very often in English. Actually, we can keep our mouth open when we make the L sound. Let's watch. Remarkable. It's much more clear to hear the L instead of this. Remarkable. I can't hear the end of the word so clearly. So, one more time. Remarkable. No. Remarkable. So now we see that sometimes stretching our mouth is really useful in English. Let's try one more example. Oh. Terrible. Well, it will be terrible if we pronounce it like this. Terrible. Wait a minute. Part of the word has disappeared. No, we need to keep our mouth open when we make the L sound so that we can hear it clearly. So, not terrible, but terrible. Maybe it's not so terrible after all. So, I have one more tip for you. When we're saying words like terrible, beautiful, we need to open our mouth. And one way to practice this is at home, in front of the mirror, with yourself, to make sure, am I making my mouth wide? For example, remember the verb we had before, separate. Look how wide my mouth is, and it really exercises the muscles. Not terrible, but terrible. The mouth is wide for the L sound. So, if you have a mirror at home, you can practice with yourself, and that's my top tip for today, to see, are you making the right shape with your mouth to make the right sound? I hope you enjoyed learning some more about saying English words with us today at Language Link Da Nang. I love doing this video. Listen, speak, and roar! We want you to have more confidence when speaking English. So, if you thought this video was useful, please click the like button and like the page on Facebook. We hope to see you again for another video to help you improve your English and listen, speak, and roar. From all of us at Language Link, we hope to see you soon. Goodbye!